Okay. Hi, guys. Oh my gosh, we're doing it again. Okay. Welcome to our second episode of our Disruptor Discussions Masterclass. My name is Jennifer Frye, and I'm really, really excited to host this for you guys today. I give you a little background about why we are here, who we are, what we're doing. I'll be brief so we can get to the good stuff. But I have a business called Appreciated Asset where we create, build, and fill sales pipelines for industry disruptors. And our mission is really to create a ripple effect for incredible business solutions and helping them grow their own businesses. And our purpose is to create a stage to highlight those disruptors and to really honor them for their courage to stand out against the status quo. So usually at this point, I get a lot of questions about, well, what do you mean disruptor? Like, it's a bit of a buzzword now. A lot of people are using it. So what does that really mean? Because it can be a bit ambiguous. I'll tell you my definition for disruptor is a business that stands out against the status quo, that is committed to excellence in the way they deliver their service and doesn't get scared about getting bold, wants to put their customer first and deliver in a way that is so far away from the industry standard, what's always been done. Just because it's always been this way doesn't mean it always has to be this way. And that's someone who's disrupting an industry. We disrupt things at Appreciated Asset with prospecting and appointment setting. And we work with other businesses that are disrupting their own industries respectively. So why are we doing disruptor discussions? Like I mentioned before, we're committed to helping businesses grow. And I firmly believe that there are zero problems in a business that more revenue cannot solve. So with that said, look, we know that we are committed to helping our businesses and our clients grow their own revenue through our service and our solution. But there's so many other ways and so many other solutions out there that can also help businesses generate more revenue in their own ecosystems. And so that's what we're doing here. Since I've been in business 6 years, I have met the most incredible people doing the most incredible things. And I just wanted to bring them in front of you. I want you to have a chance to learn about ideas and concepts that maybe you are unfamiliar with, maybe you've heard before, but you really want to take a deeper dive. And that's what we're here to do today. Okay, so we have Mel McSherry with us. And Mel and I met several years ago through a networking group, a women's networking group that we're both part of. And immediately it was like, where have you been all my life? I mean, that was for me anyway.
Same.
So we have like a weird amount of things in common, both city lovers. Mel's in Chicago, I'm a New York girl, both single moms to little boys, both boys named Max. Both boys named Max who are like obsessed with Pokemon and gaming and all the things. So it's just like, it's wild. We have very, very similar, we just have a ton in common. And she's just amazing. And so Mel exposed me and taught me all about human design. And I'm going to hand things over to her in a minute so you guys can all learn about human design. Because if you don't know about it, you really should know. And by the way, in the chat, we are going to be putting in the link. So if you guys haven't done your human design, thank you, Bernie. Please go to this. It's mybodygraph.com. It's a free link. They're not going to spam you or anything like that, but you'll be able to get your own human design.
No one's an affiliate. It's just one of the easier apps.
It's just an easy way to get your human design. And also when you're doing it, make sure that the dates are all correct and you haven't inverted them because they do it. It's like that European style where it's
day and then month.
Day and then month.
Mm-hmm. And military time as well.
Right. And military time. Okay. So just keep that in mind. Double check all your numbers because we had a little snafu when I was redoing mine just to double check. Anyway, I'm sorry. We're all good. I'm still a projector. Okay. So here's the deal. When I learned about human design, it was really something I was unfamiliar with. And I always like, kind of think of myself as a pretty self-aware person. I'm a lifelong learner. But human design helped me understand myself in a way that helped me get rid of so many stories that I didn't even realize I was carrying about myself, who I was, what I was doing. And we'll get into projectors and all of that later, what that means. But truly, Mel, like, thank you for what you have taught me, because it has brought me to a level of self-acceptance and self-love of like, this is who I am. This is who I've always been meant to be. And drop the stories, drop like the negative self-talk that I had about where maybe my weaknesses were. Okay. So I'm going to hand you over in a moment, but I'm going to read Mel's bio first. International Business and Life Guide, Mel McSherry helps inspired yet overwhelmed entrepreneurs honor their lives and become the architects of their success. Mel uses their spiritual gifts as well as their 14 plus years of business building experience to slash entrepreneurs' stress and bring their success to life. Who else could use that? Using both human design in partnership with traditional business development tools, Mel coaches others on how they can connect to what they want, understand how they are designed to create what they want, and implement their strengths and strategies so every day they are profitable mentally, emotionally, and financially. Gosh, I'm here for that. As an entrepreneur since 2010, Mel has launched 2 successful businesses, become a 2-time published author, spoken almost 200 times all over the US and overseas, and created a true life by design, all while being the primary caregiver to their 12-year-old son, Max, who is autistic. So everyone, welcome, Mel. I am so happy you're here, and I just can't wait to learn more about human design. Take it away.
I'm so happy to be here. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you to all of you that are here. As you are popping in your information into that link, all we need to know today is honestly your type. And I'll go into how there are many different things because I am sure that you're already a little bit overwhelmed and slash confused. Bernie, could you stop your sound share so I could share my screen real quick? There we go. Thank you so much. All right, y'all. Let me move pretty faces. And here we go. So today we are, again, talking about how to be more profitable with human design. And the reason why I quote profitability is because, as you heard in my bio, to me, profitability is threefold: mentally, emotionally, and financially. And first and foremost, what knowing your human design can do is help you fully flip that hierarchy of needs. Because being an entrepreneur and being an entrepreneurial journey is a journey. It's a marathon. And though there are many tools and frameworks that can simplify and really ease this journey, it can still be overwhelmed by everything that we think we need to do or all the suggestions that we've been told to do to create what we want. And what human design does, which Jennifer already mentioned beautifully, is it gets you back to you. It gets you to your foundations, your frameworks, and how you are designed to create what you want with continued ease and flow, because this is all about sustainability. And when you flip that hierarchy of needs to emotional and mental profitability first, it creates just a more well-rounded and more enjoyable journey as that financial seems to just flow right in. I know it sounds easy to be true. And to be fair, it's not always easy, but with human design, you have that operations manual to when things get sticky, which they do because we're human and life is life, you have something that you can go back to remind yourself of how is the best way for you to move through this moment and still remain profitable. So I'm sure you are asking, what is human design? So human design is the science of differentiation. It utilizes astrology, I Ching or I Ching, Kabbalah, chakras, and quantum physics, and creates a chart that is a precise map and user guide that gives you access to how you are genetically designed to engage with the world and how your inner guidance system operates. So if we put that into a little bit of layman's terms, as I mentioned earlier, it's your operations manual. Every single person has one, and every single person's is different. It can also be a little bit of a dictionary or a thesaurus when you are told certain words like consistency or sales or routine. You can take those words, look at your human design and reframe them and customize them so you know then how to utilize the tool or the words that they are giving you according to you. It can also help you realize which tools and which words just don't work because there's a lot of them out there. And in especially the coaching world, it's easy for things to get copy and pasteable, right? Follow these 5 steps to 6 figures, or, have this funnel to, ease 5K a month or whatever. And though those aren't wrong, they're also not always applicable to every single person. So when you get that buzz or you get that excitement of trying something new or trying something or expanding on what you already know, human design then gives you that boundaries to go, okay, I know this part, yes, this part, no, this part, I'm actually going to move and do over here. And again, by understanding and applying this knowledge, it really does create ease, flow, and profitability as you honor your life and be the architect of your success. Now, if you've ever looked at a human design chart, or if you're looking at yours right now because you're on mybodygraph.com, there are a lot of elements. I call human design the ultimate onion of personal development because there are many, 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 many layers. In fact, the person who brought this system together says that it takes a minimum of 7 years for you to fully integrate your design. And I love that because what that does is that already slows the pace of progress and it makes it something that grows with you. So often as entrepreneurs and as humans, we're like, gimme, 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 right? I want to just tell me what to do and I'll do it. And then I'm going to go to the next step. We have been trained to be very A, B, C, D to get X, Y, Z. However, what that tends to do is we miss the marks of where we are truly profitable. We miss those spaces where we can really highlight our strengths. And to Jennifer's point, not get too caught up in the stories of what we thought or what we, or who we thought we needed to be or what we thought we needed to do. So these are just some of the elements that I typically talk about when I have time with clients. And that is your type, which there are 5 of them. So we have generator, manifesting generator, projector, manifestor, and reflector. Strategy, each type has their own strategy, and this ensures that you stay in alignment with your design and your boundaries, your energetic boundaries. Your centers, which are aligned with your chakras, this is where you receive information and where you process it. Your profile, which for those who have been on Human Design Instagram or have been familiar with Instagram, those are those 2 numbers. You might hear people say like, oh, I'm a 6'2" or oh, I'm a 3'5". Those are your main characteristics that define you as who you are inside of your type. And then your incarnation cross, which is your overarching purpose. And no, it doesn't tell you who you're going to be when you grow up or when you're going to die. It's just the overarching theme of what you are meant to bring about and what purpose you have inside of the collective. So that already, I don't know about you, but to me, that's a lot of info, Mel. Yes, it is. And we're not going to go through all that. What we're going to focus on today is purely the type, because what that is going to do is give you that initial awareness of your strengths, of your strategies, as well as your stopping points, because that seems to be where we tend to go or not even recognize what we have, which are stopping points. So first, let's start with generator. Generator is 70% of the population, and y'all's strategy is know thyself and wait to respond. The beautiful thing about generators is that you are one of the few types that have an endless amounts of energy. You have what's called a defined sacral, which is a chakra, and that is an energetic motor. So you can do all the things. You also have a stair-step style of success. Earlier, I talked about pace. And for generators, because you have copious amounts of energy, you tend to just go, right? If you see a wall, you're going to do whatever you can to move through it. If you're frustrated, you're going to do whatever you can to move through it. That is the first stopping point that as a generator, you should be aware of. and that is frustration. Frustration is a gorgeous indicator that you have mastered everything that you need to master. Therefore, it is a time for you to pause, recalibrate, celebrate, reflect, look at what you want to do next, and then going back to your strategy, wait for that next initiation or that next invitation to move forward. It's that waiting part that generators are like, eat. And the reason why is because you are not initiators. You are the follow through. That right there is already going to blow a couple people's minds, as well as make people a little bit nervous. So sit with that. It's okay. But I'm sure, as if you now know you are a generator, I'm sure if you look back on your journey and you remember those times where something was just so easily successful, it was because you were responding to information, to pings, to questions, to situations that you could bring your knowledge and your insights to. When you get a ping to do something, it's that moment to go, okay, I know myself, right? So I have this information. What does this mean to me? What does this mean in the scheme of things? And what resources do I already have to start following through with that response? And what more information do I need to wait for to really make it something holistically profitable? So here are some do's and don'ts for generators. Again, don't initiate, do follow through. That takes some practice. I'm a projector as well. We'll get to how our strategies are a little bit similar and how that stress factor is real when it comes to it, because it's a little bit more opposite than what we have been taught. Don't push through the frustration. Do pause, reevaluate, and celebrate. When you honor that stair-step style, what that does is it gives you that sustainability. It gives you that moment to reflect and go, why am I still doing this? With this other information that I may or may not have from other personal development tools, what is this telling me that I have been ignoring because I've just been so one lane focused? And also, don't spend all of your energy on one task. Remember, frustration is the indicator to pause. Do spread that gorgeous energy. A lot of generators tend to get too caught up in what they need to do, right? Or with some of those stories, I need to work super duper duper hard to prove that I am worthy, to prove that I've got this, to show that I've done XYZ to get ABC. However, your energy can't stay in one spot. It is meant to be given to different areas because collectively, that is what helps create that sustainability for you. So if you're in a task and you've got the energy for it, but you're at a frustration point, you're at a pause point, that is a ping to go, okay, you know what? I remember what Mel said. I'm going to move my energy now to something else, completely different. Let that marinate, because what you need to do is actually wait for more information to really make that profitable. That is the universe or whomever telling you, hey, you don't have everything yet. So instead of trying to just force it, take a breath, move over here, and let that new information come forward. Again, it is a change of pace, but it is a change of pace that will create beautiful sustainability and overall more revenue in your business, because these will be offers, these will be spaces that were fully meant and fully fleshed out for you. Moving on to manifesting generator. Now, y'all are 35% of the population, and towards the end, you're going to be like, Mel, the math ain't mathing. Manifesting generator is actually a subcategory of generators. So basically half of all generators are manifesting generators. That's why the math does actually math right. And the manifesting generators are gorgeous because you not only have the copious amount of energy as a generator, you also have the magic of the initiation with the manifester. So with that said, you have a strategy of wait. So the wait to respond strategy is still applicable to you, but inside of that wait to respond, you get to visualize and inform. Inform is massive for manifesting generators because y'all are my multi-passionate, multitasking geniuses. who are not meant to niche down. You are those ones that are like, no, I want to put a little bit of energy here and here and here and here. For any coach or any space that has told you you should just focus on one thing, be good at it, and move on, I am here to tell you nay, nay. I'm here to tell you your magic, your profitability, your revenue comes from many different spaces, and you have the gorgeous energy to be involved in all of them. It's learning where, again, those stop and starting points are and what that combination or that blend looks like for, for you. So though you have the gorgeous visualization and magic to initiate things, you also still need to take your time and inform those around you of what you are doing, because you can go a little bit too far ahead and realize that you're going to have to take a couple steps back to do it either all over again or to do it again, but better. The more that you can keep people in the loop of what you're thinking, what you're doing, and I know that might sound a little frustrating because that means you're breaking your process, find ways of how best to communicate for yourself, but do communicate, as well as when you get more ideas and more magic, take that moment to pause and go, okay, now I'm being pulled over here. I'm over here. What does this look like then? And give yourself that moment to rejudge what you need to rejudge, let go what you need to let go of, or just fully pause what you need to pause. Some people might think that you are a little bit flighty. Some people might think you're a little bit of a flibberty gibbet, which is one of my favorite words. You are neither. You are multi-passionate. You have the energy to be multi-passionate, and those who get it, get it. And those who are confused by who you are, what you offer, honestly, they're going to be confused by you the entire time. So they are meant to work with somebody else. Embrace your multi-passions, embrace your beautiful multitasking, and definitely do not niche down. So again, number one, don't niche down. Do find the through line, which by the by is you. You are always the through line. But is there an overarching theme to the different spaces you love to be in and that you love to support? Don't instantly initiate. Again, when you feel that ping and you see it, take a second to visualize where that falls in line with what you've already said, what you already want, what you already do, and inform others as you are moving through it so you don't miss any steps. Also, don't force yourself to be consistent. Do define consistency for yourself. Remember, you are designed to bounce around. So if something just feels a little bit too confined, make it yours. Suggestions are beautiful. Everybody has feedback. Things work for others that don't work for ourselves. It's taking that information, utilizing the strategy and going, okay, now what do I know to be true? Who can I talk it out to as I'm already filling in my energy in these other spaces while that is circulating and while that is marinating. Next is projectors. Hello. Got two in the room. And we are 20% of the population. And our strategy is wait to be invited. And I don't know about you, Jennifer, but when I first heard that, it did take me a hot minute to really understand what that meant, because all of us are trained as entrepreneurs to initiate, to go for the ask, to follow up, right? And as projectors, our magic, our profitability is in sharing, is in waiting to be invited. And as we wait, master what we want to master and share our journey along the way. We are the guides of the collective. We are the ones that people just automatically tell shit to. They don't know why. But we also can see things differently. We can see further ahead. And again, even that invitation of wait to be invited, just because we can see it doesn't always mean we are meant to share it to that person at that time. It's still waiting for that invitation to share that insight or share what we see, unless it's our own stories, and then we have permission to share as we see fit. Our energy is also very limited, 2 to 4 hours of energy. max. Here's the sneaky part though. We also receive energy from others. So we can actually forget that we burn out very quickly. That's exactly what happened to me in 2022 to 2023, even though I did know all this stuff and practice it. Again, human. I was spending so much time with people and, creating that energy for myself that I didn't realize that my nervous system was slowly but surely just exhausting itself. And this year, when I really, really, really honed in on 2 to 4 hours and what that looks like for me and my calendar, I already have had the most profitable quarter mentally, emotionally, and financially since 2019. And that's not a promise, but that is how utilizing your design can just really instantly shift things for you. Of course, I had to work through a lot that year to make this year possible. Let's put that through there as well. And also, rest is clutch. Rest can be a lot of things. Again, rest comes with guilt for a lot of us, especially those of us who identify as female and those of us who are caregivers. We think that rest is for the wicked, when really for projectors, it is needed. It's needed for us to restore our energy, to cleanse our energy, and to really make sure that we're staying in alignment with who we are and our energetic platform or energetic blueprint. So here's some do's and don'ts. Don't initiate. Do share your knowledge when invited. Again, don't overexert yourself, which is easy to do if you love to spend time with people. Do take breaks. And those breaks can be little ones, even if it's a 15-minute break between each phone call. For others, for myself, I have a max of, I only take a certain amount of meetings per day, and my office hours are very protected. Everything goes through a Calendly link, so I don't inadvertently mess that up or overextend me. I've created really beautiful office hours for me that honor when my energy is the highest and when it is done. And also, don't live by traditional outcomes. Do trust the process. Our process is initially slower because we are here to always observe, to be witnesses, and to share when invited. Those traditional outcomes, even for reach out to 15 people and close 5 and da 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 da. The numbers game is different when it comes to us. Yes, numbers are beautiful. They're needed. They're valid. Absolutely. And as projectors, our numbers are going to look different because it's going to be quality. It should always be quality over quantity, but for us especially, really need to protect how we show ourselves, how we spend time with others, and how we set these offers for ourselves and the results that those offers can create for us. Now, my manifestors, my max is a manifester. They are 9% of the population. Their strategy is to purely inform. Again, remember, half of that manifesting generator is a manifester. So the strategy is to inform, to talk to others about what you are thinking, what you see, what you're feeling, what you want to do, because you are the initiators. You are the only type that is pure energy. I mean, it is just there, and you can not only receive it, but you can give it to others at any moment. However, what that can also do is because not a manifestor, but for manifestors who do have so much magic, they tend to start stepping over into more of the generator space because they can see it, they have the steps, but they're not meant to be that structured. They're not meant to be that tactical. Manifestors are here to bring in that fresh air, to bring in that magic. And when that magic is done for them, when they feel stifled, when they feel stuck, that means their magic is done in that space. It's time for them to bless and release or add others so they can take over and move their magic to something else. And manifestors can have difficulty with communication because typically they have an open throat, which means they receive a lot. And also because they see so much, they can tend to get a little bit tripped up. So the informed strategy is also helpful because it helps them get their thoughts in line, and it helps you as a manifestor see really where that magic needs to come in, as well as already start identifying those stopping points for yourself and what's that next space that you can be in. So some manifestor do's and don'ts. Don't keep it to yourself. Do share with others, and no, it won't slow you down, I promise. Don't overextend your energy. Do step away and initiate the next idea when you feel done. As well as don't create rigid structure. Do enjoy the ebb and flow of your ideas. So even inside of that, I like a term I use a lot called structurally unstructured. Find the priorities for you in that day, make that your structure. And then the next day, check in on yourself, check in on your energy, and then see what now are my priorities. That is still a structure, that is still a routine, but that is how you can start honoring that ebb and flow of energy and those ideas. And last but not least are gorgeous reflectors. They are less than 1% of the population. I have met two. I didn't think I would ever meet one, and I met two. Both are entrepreneurs. And as you can see with their strategy, wait 28 days. That's a bit of a pace changer, right? Because they are the barometers of the collective. They are here to hone in the energy, to calm the environment, to see what is missing, and then insert themselves inside those missing pieces if it is in alignment with their strengths and in alignment with where they want to spend their energy. They have a super deep awareness of what is going on and what not only energetically, but environmentally. And for them, life can be a little inconsistent, but it's in that inconsistency that comes so much beauty and so much freedom. So if you find that you're a reflector and you have created your 10-year plan, love that for you. And let that be more of a guideline than an actual plan, because you will be influenced more than others with what is going on around you, not only personally, but professionally, again, energetically, all of those things. So embrace that and know that that is information for you to see where you need to be inserted and what, again, of your strengths that you want to apply can be inside of that space. So some do's and don'ts for reflectors. Don't make major decisions instantly. Do wait the 28 days. I promise you, I know it's going to take some time and some practice. It will become second nature more and more. Don't get overtaken by your environment. Do find coping strategies to maintain your mindset. And don't hide. That's easy for reflectors because they can get extremely overwhelmed. Rest is glorious and rest is needed. But a beautiful question I pose to my reflectors, as well as those who have hermit in their profile, is, am I hiding or am I resting? If you find that you are hiding as a reflector, do surround yourself with others that will bring back that reflective energy to you, because that is what keeps your sustainability going. And that's what ensures that your energy is always being cycled through and cycled out. So I know that there is a lot, even in just of that, right? That I'm sure some of you are going, okay. And so I just want to pose this. I know Jennifer and I are going to chat with a couple questions that she has, which I'm excited to answer. But I will say this on top of what we're going to discuss after this, is that awareness is always the first step. So even those things, and we're going to time for Q&A. If you found that you're a generator and you're like, I'm not supposed to initiate, what does that mean? Spend time then what are the ways that you can make sure that your energy is being used effectively and you're not going too far, right? So how can you take those do's and don'ts and look at what your routine is, what you've been maybe struggling with, or what you've been kind of questioning for yourself, and do any of those do's or don'ts, as well as that strategy, give you that moment, give you that awareness to at least know where those next steps, or how to ask for those next steps, which we'll definitely have space for that. In the interim, please feel free to reach out and connect to me on LinkedIn. This is my website. Email me. I love complimentary virtual coffees. But thank you first and foremost to everybody to spending time with us today. And thank you, Jennifer, for giving me this space to share.
This is awesome. Thank you so much. So I only have 100 questions now. And I bet you a lot of other people are going to have questions. So you guys, I'm going to save plenty of time for you to all get your questions answered, because I know it's like, okay, but me, right? Like,
Yeah,
you
but
guys
and
have
then
questions.
what?
The first one that came in that I want to get answered before I get to my questions is there were a couple people who did not know their actual birth time.
Okay.
And I bet you that's really pretty common, actually. So what does someone do in that
So
situation?
their birth time is located on their birth certificate, their government's birth certificates. That is, I mean, the closer you can get to the actual, sorry, I'm just plugging in my computer, the actual time, the better. If your parent is still available, and they say, well, I think it was between like midnight and 3 a.m. That is a small enough of a window to where the major things won't change. What might change are some of those littler elements that
Okay.
you probably even won't even get to till later on. So definitely look at your government birth certificate, and it should be on there.
Okay. I think we had someone say that that wasn't available for them. So what if, I mean, what if you have someone who, like, I don't know, there was maybe an adoption or foster situation, like,
Yeah.
and they really just don't have access to that. What would you tell them so that they can still explore this?
You know, what I would probably do, and it's interesting because a lot of the apps won't run anything without a
Right.
time. So that would be a little bit of a hunt and peck where
Okay.
you could just do, like uh midnight and noon and just see what the results are, and honestly trust yourself. If one just sits better than the other, then that's probably what it is. I will say this is a spoiler alert. Every single one of us is already working inside of our design. We just take it too far. So you will instantly know which one is yours. If for some reason you get manifestor and generator and you're like, those both, then you're a manifesting generator. But I would say if you did the midnight and noon and just see what the results came up, as well as if you want me to look at it as a facilitator, I'm happy to do that as well. Or I don't know if every facilitator would, but I'd be happy to just kind of walk through that with you and just kind of explore what that looks like for you.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. And then everyone, go ahead and start putting any questions that you may have in the Q&A section, and I will start pulling from those. I was so excited for you to get started that I didn't even ask you my questions that I am supposed to be asking. Way to go. Okay. How, Mel, does your solution, how does human design and really understanding your human design
Mhm.
bring more revenue into business? Like, how does knowing that do? I can tell you what I think, but I'd like to hear, you're the expert.
I mean, honestly, what it brings to you is that trust in yourself, which is clutch. I mean, there's so much noise out there. There's so many different ways that you can create what you want. And there's so many people who are willing to shout at you, either nicely or not, what those things are. And it's so easy to get overwhelmed. So by understanding your human design, again, what you can do is go, okay, I know that doesn't work for me. And is there a way that I can customize it? Because what that's going to do is, again, create that profitability in a sustainable way, as well as just walking into your space and just going, I know this. I know me. I know this is not true, or I know this is true. And that confidence in yourself, having that validation and that awareness of who you are, not only who you are, but how you are designed. Because we talk a lot about know your why, which is definitely important, but we all know our why. It's enough for us that what we started our own businesses. Where we get tripped up is the how. And we've never been taught to go to ourselves first. We've always been taught to go to the outside. So by going to yourself first and going, okay, I know this to be true. I know this information. I know this manual. Then when that information comes forward, it's so much easier to say yes, no, or let's do it this way.
Right. I mean, I know the one thing for me as a business owner is the more closely aligned I've become to my service, to my offer, to the way we deliver and the way we serve,
Mm-hmm.
the more successful we've been.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the more it really like aligns with who we truly are. When we launched our Disruptor Designer, for example, it was like so deeply aligned because we were disruptive and we worked best with disruptors. So now it's all about like, that's the whole conversation is how are you disruptive? And the right people identified and came in. It was not, we never marketed this.
Yeah.
People hand raised for it. And so I've always noticed that the more that I've really aligned, and again, understanding with the energy was huge for me as a projector. That 2 to 4 hour was a huge wake up call because I am more of like a 5 a.m. to bedtime kind of like go, go, go person. And I was wiped and I was like emotionally dysregulated. And whereas I used to be this like huge networker and loved that, I was so depleted that I didn't even enjoy it. I'd go for like an hour and be like, oh, okay, I gotta go.
Same. And I used to coin that up as like, I'm an extroverted introvert. No, I'm a projector. And in my profile, I'm also a hermit. Like,
Yeah.
so even though, even that understanding of, for those who are projectors, when you feel emotionally or mentally exhausted the next day, or I felt hungover the next day, that is because you haven't had enough time in between to rest. So what is work to you, and what is that work you want to do in that small pocket of energy? Because that is your sweet spot. You can do other things. You're still working outside of those 2 to 4 hours, but it's more low energy things, as well as things that you want to master to continue to expand
Right.
your mastery.
Yeah, I love that. I love the breaks too, because I've noticed it's not about napping. That's fun on Sundays, right? But it's not about napping. It's about taking 15 minutes where there's no input, no screen, no sound, nothing to reset and go again. I am still kind of working with what that exactly looks like for me that feels perfect. Anyway, I'm going to get to more questions. Okay. Mel, how are you disrupting your space? Like, how are you disrupting? You know, I love the combination of strategy plus human design. So
that's
how
fun.
are you? Yeah.
I would say probably the major way that I am disrupting, especially the quote unquote coaching space, is that I don't come to my sessions with a plan. I don't come with frameworks. I don't come with, these are my 4 pillars and we only stick to these 4 pillars. The reason why I love utilizing human design, why I think it is such a beautiful disruption to entrepreneurship, is because I see you. So I know who you are energetically. As a guide, I then facilitate and ask the questions to ensure that you are staying inside of your design. And I have to tell you, I was thinking about this the other day, that has released so much imposter syndrome from me.
Yeah.
Like I remember before I found human design and I was trained to be very formulaic, every client, I'd be like, this is the day they find out. This is the day they find out that no, I'm full of shit. Because I feel so pressured that they need to get results because I promised them results because that's what I said in all of my posts, right? When I switched to 1, utilizing human design for myself, and then 2, sharing it with others as a guide, now I just get to walk into a space, be like, where are you today? What can we work on? We work on offers, we work on messages. Some days I just hold space. And I love that that is disrupting how we are coaching in the entrepreneurial space. We're becoming more human-centered. You hear a lot. But really it is about me supporting you and you as a person, not you as a result, as a before and after, or as a success story.
So I've got a couple more. Again, guys, if you have questions, please drop them in the chat or in the Q&A section so that I can make sure that Mel can answer you with all of her brilliance. Today, one of the best things we did last week that I got so much feedback about was like, we had implementable things to do that day. I had, if you guys remember, we had Kim Rosso coming on talking about how to elevate your brand and create revenue that way. Amazing. And people loved like today. So here's my question for you is, what is the number one thing we can do today, now that we know our human design, to drive more revenue in our business? What can be implemented immediately?
I would say first and foremost, look at your calendar and your business hours. How are you structuring your time and your energy, and what shifts can you make now knowing what you now know. Because even with that little bit of just a strategy and your type, I actually did a post about this on LinkedIn earlier this week. But even those two things has helped me understand my stopping points. So look at your calendar. How are people able to spend time with you? And really, and make those adjustments to put in those spaces that you need, because that's going to set the pace for the rest of your day, as well as give you the permission to adjust other things.
Okay, excellent. Doug wanted to know about the books. Are there any books? I know you're an author,
Mhm.
and are there books that you can refer people to go to learn more about human design?
Absolutely. Is it in here? Yes, it is. Okay. I'm gonna unblur my background so you can see. This one is the one that I typically tell people to start with because it's pretty digestible. So it's called Understanding Human Design. Karen Curry, she is well known in the human design circles. This one is very digestible. I would definitely suggest starting with this one. I have another one that is pretty much like a physics textbook that I'm salivating over because I'm a nerd. But if you are just starting, I would definitely start with this book.
Okay, awesome. Um, while we wait, again, questions, please. You guys have got to have some questions. Amber said, it sounds like I should switch to half days as a projector. Haha, me too. Um, that was one of the things you had just said that I thought was really interesting. It's like 2 to 4 hour spurts. Yeah, it doesn't mean that I'm supposed to be working 4 hours a day. That's not the point. The point is that really concentrated, high energy,
Exactly.
and really making sure that that's condensed.
Hmm.
Totally makes sense. Um, Tell me about building a team using human design, because that's, we're expanding our team here, and
Yeah.
I'm always really looking for people that complement what I do.
Hmm.
So is it like you should have a team with all of these different people on your team, or do Manny generators work great with Manny generators and projectors should just stay out of the way? I mean, what does a team look like when you're taking human design into account?
I love this question. So I would say first and foremost, know again yours. So start with you first. Know your communication style, your needs, your wants, your expectations, your limits, right? Because then what that does is it helps you see then where your team members can fill in. And then
Okay.
I always say, even if you don't know your team members' types, all types work together. Like we're all meant to mishmash together. And just because several people are the same type, they're not the same person within that type. That's why there's so many layers to human design. So just knowing your type only gets you so far. It only starts with so much awareness. Who you are as that type is narrowed in with all the rest of that information. So I would then pose the question, be like, okay, look, here's my needs, wants, expectations, my limits. Who wants to pick up what, and kind of see who steps forward with what strengths, or even ask, what's your energy like? What's your communication style? I mean, I think these are actually really gorgeous questions that we all should be asking in teams. But even if you don't know everybody else's design, know yours, because you will set that example and then you will see how others can fit in.
Okay. And I love what you said, that we're already operating within our human design,
Yep.
just taking it too far. I really love
Yep.
that. Okay, so we've got some questions. Kim says she is a 3-5 manifesting generator. Big
Ooh.
surprise. Current human design can share best times you should be working. Is this something you know, or do you need to look more closely at my specific human design?
uh, what times of day? Honestly, that is you. That's I there's elements of the chart that can just see what are your best environments and what are your best practices when inside of those environments. But when it comes to when you are the most energetic, that's customizable to you. For me, I'm a morning person, so I wake up at 5 a.m. I try to knock out as much work as I can by 9 a.m. So then all I can do is just be with clients and be done by 2:30. That's just because I know by 2:30 my brain is done. So experiment that with yourself and honor that, and don't be afraid to have weird office hours. It's
Yeah.
okay to adjust your calendar to what works best for you. And if there is somebody who's asking for more time, you have full say to really evaluate, go back to your strategy for ManiGen, know thyself. Okay, is this really going to be something profitable for me mentally, emotionally, and financially? And if it's a yes, then go ahead and schedule it outside and prep the rest of your days so you have that energy or have that focus for when you're ready to see them. But for ManiGens, I mean, that energy could spike up and down all day, and also depending on what activity you are doing. So take notes of when you just seem to be the most creative, as well as which activities give you the most energy that can carry over into the others.
Awesome. Thank you. Julaine has a great question. And I'm so glad you brought this up, Julaine, because I was going to ask this as well. What's the relationship overlap with other personality typology results like DISC, Myers-Briggs?
Oh, I love this question.
Yeah.
So I think they're all beautiful. And I do want to say that I don't think human design is like the end all be all. It is a gorgeous additive to those things. Where it is different is this is our frequency. This is our foundation. This is where our DISC and Myers-Briggs comes from. So what it does is, again, it gives you that deeper understanding into the why with your DISC and your Myers-Briggs results. But they all work beautifully with each other. One of my clients actually has what she calls a Cara file that has her DISC and her Myers-Briggs and her human design and all the other things that she's done. And she loves to look through them because they're all the same, but they give you different lenses and different depths into who you are and how you're designed.
Well, and don't some of those change, right? Like if you're an
Enneagrams can change and
ENFJ and a
DISC, yeah.
PGDG, I don't know what, I mean, it's like overwhelming, but they can change at different parts of your life as
They
well.
absolutely can. Yeah, absolutely. And the human design is you. That is you when you were born. That will be you when
Right.
you leave this world. But they can't, yes, they can tend to, those can tend to shift depending on environment or influence.
Yeah. Super interesting. Awesome. Well, it doesn't look like we have any more questions. How can someone reach you? We've dropped some stuff in the chat. Free, I think Bernie, you did, right? We've got some links in the chat if anyone wants to meet. Please feel free to reach out to Mel. She is as amazing one-on-one as she is here today. Oh, I do have another question here. Let's see here from Anna Laura. For the waiting to be invited for projectors. Oh, this is such a good one, Anna. How do you implement your new offers or launches in your business?
Love this. So the way to be invited are more for massive opportunities. So those are speaking opportunities. Those are invitations for you to be inside of spaces that will utilize your time and energy, right? As well as sharing your thoughts in networking spaces or in circles. So when you have a new offer or launch in your business, it's your space that you're talking about.
Yeah.
LinkedIn is your space, social. So you are always invited to share in your space. How you share is a little bit different for projectors because we share through our insight, we share through our experiences, not necessarily transactional or too emotional, if that makes sense. But to your space, to your audience, you have the invitation all the time because that's yours. When you are moving into somebody else's space or things like speaking, things like that, that is when you do need to just kind of not initiate and ask to be part of spaces, but wait for others to see you, recognize you, and invite you into it.
I will tell you, as a projector, this was a big alignment for me starting this masterclass because I do want to teach. I do want, as a lifelong learner myself, I have been meeting so many incredible people that I was like, everyone needs to know about this, Mel. Like everyone needs to
Yeah.
know. And so creating a platform in my space, in my network, and then inviting people to learn has been, I feel like, really aligned with what I'm supposed to be, what I have been born to do. It's just a
Absolutely.
new way of doing it.
Yeah, it's less of that attack, mass emailing, mass DMing, mass blah, 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 to,
Mhm.
for me, it's having virtual coffees with new people and just talking about different things and then talking about what I do. And then they go, so how do you do that? I want to know more. and the offer just comes out. So sales calls for projectors aren't about proving anything. They're about listening. They are about seeing if they are the right guide, as well as just having a conversation of what knowledge you have in regards to what, obstacles they are experiencing right now.
I
And by
love it.
sharing your experiences and your knowledge, that naturally creates the invitation that people want to know more about your offers.
I love it. We are up. We're out of time. And that was amazing. Thank you so, so much for
Thank
being who you are
you.
and for teaching me so much and for being just a wonderful friend. And I just
Aw.
adore you. And I just thank you. Next week, you guys, we are going to have Jess Sato on here talking about how to create a business that's based on impact and
Mm.
how to drive a business that is profitable through impact. And she is amazing. She is, again, just a human that you just will want to spend the whole time with, and more. And I hope you guys can join us for that. But we will sign off, give you guys the rest of the day to absorb all this and do your own human design research. And thank you so much again, Mel. I
Thank
appreciate you. And I think
you.
you're just amazing. And say hi to
Thank
your
you.
Max, please.
Same, same. Bye.
Bye.